Victoria, clearly, as Jonathan said, the direction, at least, of most of the economic data of late has been positive. But does it risk changing direction if we don't get an extension of the government stimulus bill?
I think it absolutely has that risk. And right now, I think built into the market, continuing to see the market move higher, here we are at almost new highs on the S&P, is the fact that people expect to have that new stimulus package in place. It's already built into what the market is seeing and what they're looking at going forward. And I think it was a little bit of a surprise that we saw Congress leave Washington without something in place, at least preliminary agreement in place that they could work on while they were on recess. And so you've got households that, even though they have stronger balance sheets than they did before COVID, I think that if they don't get that unemployment insurance coming in, we're going to see consumer demand and consumption pull back. For us, that's key in this marketplace. We can continue to have some of these high-flying names make their move forward. We own them in our portfolio, and so, we continue to own them. We continue to think there's a trend there. But the consumer is really going to drive the economy, and that's going to drive the sentiment. And we know that all of that is related to what the market is doing. Powell even said the economy is going to go the path of COVID. If COVID does better, consumers will do better. That's going to drive the markets going forward.
I want to turn now to gold, which was up today after last week snapping a 9-week winning streak, and take a look at shares of Barrick Gold, which surged today after Berkshire Hathaway revealed a $562 million stake in the company. That's as of June 30th this year. And the stake is a relatively small investment for the conglomerate, but Berkshire is now the 11th largest shareholder in Barrick. The move is particularly surprising considering Warren Buffett's previous comments dismissing gold as a good store of value. But either way, that is driving Barrick up about 11% or so today in trading. And it goes a little bit against, Victoria, the philosophy of the Oracle of Omaha. What does it tell you if he's getting into gold now?
Well, I think a lot of people have this gold play in their portfolios because they're looking at some of the inflation concerns. There was a deflation concern for such an extended period of time, and now we're starting to see that turn around. We saw some of the CPI and the PPI numbers actually move a little bit higher. We've seen the dollar move down, I think, about 5% in the last 12, 13 weeks, which is not surprising when the money supply is growing and we're seeing Treasury issuance continue. So I think it's a little bit of an inflation play that people are going into gold, but you can also look at other ways to do that inflation play. You can look at tips. There's a lot of demand going into tips, and we're seeing those inflation break-even numbers move higher. So we don't actually hold gold or the mining players in our portfolio, but I think it's the inflation that's driving that, and we need to be careful, going back to the consumer demand maybe not being there, that inflation may not move as high as some people anticipate.